What's up guys, John here, and welcome to Baltimore Retro Gaming. And you guys know, if you watch my channel, I love shoot 'em ups. It's one of my very favorite genres of games to play. And when I think about shoot 'em ups and the systems that are kind of known for those style of games, I tend to think about systems like the PC Engine and the Sega Saturn. Now, when it comes to the GameCube, shoot 'em ups and having tons of games on the system really doesn't come to mind. But there was a couple of awesome, excellent games released for the system, and today we have one of them. Today we have Chaos Field for the GameCube, a game that I've done a video on before, but I've been playing it a lot recently, and I really want to kind of dive more into the game. So, Chaos Field, let's check it out. Okay, so this is my copy of Chaos Field on the GameCube, and there's the spine, there's the, still got the plastic on here. That's actually what I paid for the game. I got it at Just Press Play out in Pennsylvania now. This place, Just Press Play, they have 4 locations, and they have a ton of stuff. I mean, you might have to drive around to one of their 4 locations, and they're not too far spread apart, but if you collect for like crazier, harder to find systems like, I don't know, Saturn, Sega CD, Neo Geo, they have AES games there, complete in box. Like, they have a lot of that crazy, hard to find stuff. And I've bought a lot of my, not all of them, but a lot of my like harder to find Sega Saturn and Sega CD games I've got from there, and I've got them for pretty cheap. Like, God, I think I got my copy of Shining and the Holy Ark complete. It was basically almost like brand new. I paid like $40 for it or something. I don't know. It was super cheap. But anyways, enough of that. Chaos Field. Let's see what this thing comes with. I do believe this copy is complete in box. So, yeah, I even saved that. I do this. I don't know why I do this. I used to collect Jordans too, and I used to save the receipts. But, yeah, just save the receipt for whatever reason. I do this on a lot of games. Let's see. I'll tell you what, they make these GameCube games, so the manual is kind of tricky to pry out of here. So yeah, it's just a manual and like another booklet, like a registration booklet or who knows. But yeah, there's the game. It is complete. I feel like I got a pretty good deal on this game about a year ago. But yeah, that's my copy of Chaos Field on the GameCube. Alright, so let's learn a little bit of history about Chaos Field. Well, according to Wikipedia anyway. So, Chaos Field is a 2004 shoot-'em-up video game developed by Milestone for the Sega Naomi arcade platform. It was ported to the Dreamcast, PlayStation 2, and Nintendo GameCube. The PlayStation 2 version was known as Chaos Field New Order, and the GameCube version is known as Chaos Field Expanded. The GameCube version is also the only standalone version released outside of Japan in North America, where it's simply called Chaos Field. The game is also included in the Ultimate Shooting Collection for the Wii. So you're going to have 2 modes when you start the game. You're going to have an arcade mode and an original mode. So in original mode, you have a choice between 3 characters. A young boy, a young girl, and an old man. And you can definitely tell the cast is Japanese just based on the type of characters they are, and looking at them, you can just totally tell it's a Japanese game. But the differences between each character come down to their weapon systems. Now, Fighter 1, the young boy, has a spread shot as his regular shot. He's got screen-clearing bombs, which we'll get into that more in a little bit. He's got a heat-sinking attack, a shield that projects out in front of him, and a melee attack. And the melee attack is very similar to the melee attack you do in Breed, if you've ever played that game on the PS4 or PC. Now, Fighter 2, or the young girl, has a spread laser attack as a regular shot. Now, she also has a heat-sinking attack, but her shield rotates around her ship. Now, that's differently than Fighter 1's shield that projects out. I'm pretty sure the shields for all the fighters also act as a weapon, but she also has a kind of screen-clearing bomb and a melee attack. And Fighter 3, the older man, has this weird pulsating electric shot as his regular shot, a heat-sinking shot, and instead of a shield weapon, he shoots out these little orbs that kind of sit on the screen for a few seconds. He also has a screen-clearing bomb and a melee attack. Now, in arcade mode, everything is similar, and I feel like the arcade mode has things missing from the original mode. I noticed the shield in Fighter 2 has 3 orbs in original mode and only 2 in arcade mode. And, well, sometimes there's 3 in arcade mode, but I think you start off with 2. And I'm sure if you play, you'll notice like more subtle differences the more and more you play the game. You'll notice little differences between arcade and original mode, but I feel like they just threw everything in original mode, and they kind of took little pieces out and changed, tweaked a few things for the arcade to kind of maybe dumb it down or simplify it just a little bit. So in saying all that, I do have an opinion as to who's my favorite character and who's my least favorite character. I would definitely have to say my favorite character, at least the character that's easiest for me to play through the game, or I haven't beat this game yet, to be completely honest with you guys. It's a really hard game, but I've gotten furthest with the female, or Fighter 2, the young girl. My second favorite would probably have to be Fighter 1, the young boy. His attacks aren't as strong as I believe the laser attack on the female. He's got the spread attack, but he's still okay and absolutely playable. I guess you could pay him if you want to, but yeah, he's playable. And the third fighter, the old man, he's actually my least favorite. His like little electric attack and the way his shield acts like these little orbs, it really doesn't protect me from anything. So that's just my list of characters from good to bad, just my opinion. But yeah, definitely Fighter 2, the young girl, absolutely my favorite. And so I guess the very next thing I should talk about is the difficulty. So I just want to start off by saying this. If you're new to the genre, this is a very, very hard shooter. Most of them are. I mean, I'm sure you know if you play these type of games, but this one, on the easiest setting, I can't even complete the game. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing because, at least for me, that gives this game a ton of replay value. And there's different ways you can incorporate different levels of difficulty into the game. Like, if you play with the old man on a harder setting, it's going to be a lot harder, at least for me, than playing with the girl with the lasers on a harder setting. Although both of them are probably going to be like, want to rip your hair and teeth out hard. On the easier setting, there's like 5 or 6 different notches. There's like a difficulty scale, and you can lower that down to very easy, or you could bump it up to very hard. Now, for those of you that are able to complete this game on very hard, especially with that old man, like, my hat's off to you. You know, this is a hard game. So for any of you guys that have completed Chaos Field, especially on those harder settings, like, yeah, I totally give you props for that, man, because this game is challenging. Now, there's 2 aspects to Chaos Field that really intrigue me about this game. And the first one I want to talk about is the graphics and visuals in Chaos Field, and I just want to say they're great. Now, don't get me wrong, my favorite 2D shooters have awesome sprite work, and sometimes there's even sprites in the background, there's parallax scrolling, and that being said, this has 3D characters and backgrounds. But some of the backgrounds are pre-rendered, like in level 2 or 3, I think it is, when the background looks like something from Google Maps and you can see everyone's houses on the ground. I mean, you can see the Earth from an aerial view, and I love it. This game tried something new at the time, and for its genre, I really appreciate that. I also played this game on my Wii with HDMI out in progressive scan mode, and it was great. It looked awesome. Although I have seen products you can use on the Gamecube that can probably give you similar results. I mean, that's just what I'm rocking with, that Wii and that little HDMI converter. And another thing with the graphics and the visuals of this game, the best game I could compare it to, and it's really not an accurate comparison, but as far as like what's going on in the background and how everything looks, I can probably most closely associate Chaos Field to Gradius 5. You know, Gradius 5 was just one of those visually stunning games on the PlayStation 2, and I feel like, although Gradius 5 I feel like is a much better game, I feel like Gradius 5 set the bar. Even though these games came out in completely different times, it set the bar, and I just feel like Chaos Field is trying to, you know, climb closer to that bar, which isn't a bad thing. Now, the other aspect to this game that, at least to me, makes this game very interesting is a game mechanic, and this game mechanic is really cool. That, okay, so what happens is when you use your bomb, your screen clearing bomb, you enter this powered up mode, and for a little while you do major damage. Now, that's all fine and good, but what makes this game interesting is your enemies power up too. So basically, when you power up, both you and your enemy power up. And what makes this so cool, at least for me, is I enjoy the spike in difficulty. So what happens is you're firing your regular shot, you use your screen clearing bomb, which kind of pushes you into this powered up state. And so not only are you powered up, but your enemy's powered up too. And what that means for you is they're firing more projectiles onto the screen. So you're going to have to be really cleverly using your shields, using your melee attack to kind of clean some of those bombs off the screen or those projectiles. And basically what it does is it forces you to dance around the screen faster. And although it's really hard and it does take a lot of practice, and this is like one of those, it's another one of those things that give this game a lot more replay value, at least for me. And it just helps like focus me, keep me in the zone, and instead of getting lazy and just staring at the screen, it really keeps me pumped up and into the game. So there's multiple versions of Chaos Field out there. You know, there's one for the Gamecube, there's one for the Dreamcast, there's one for the PS2. Now, I did want to play another version of Chaos Field. It kind of compared, you know, Chaos Field on the different systems, and the only one that I was actually able to play was the Dreamcast version. For obvious reasons, you know, Dreamcast you're able to emulate, PS2 you're not. So I do have a GPD-XD, and I did log on to Happy Chick, and I downloaded Chaos Field for the Dreamcast. And I mean, really, that's the only, like I said, the only system I could actually emulate it for anyway. And just from what I'm seeing, they look pretty identical. They play pretty much the same. The controls, I mean, everything. I mean, obviously the GPD-XD you can't play on a GameCube controller, but it's pretty similar. Now, there could be more levels in one than the other. You know, I don't know. I haven't completed the game yet. I'm not that good at the game yet. But, guys, just from what I'm seeing, you know, they seem pretty similar. So, if you do have to emulate this game and if you don't feel like buying it, you know, get a GPD-XD or use any kind of decent Android device or PC and download a Dreamcast emulator and just play it that way. So, guys, the GameCube, you know, it didn't get that many shooters. It got a couple. You know, two that I could think of are Chaos Field and Ikaruga. I don't own Ikaruga, and I really don't buy a ton of video games online. I buy a few, but, you know, maybe I'll have to find it online because I cannot find that game in the wild or at any game store anywhere. But hopefully one day I'll get a copy of Ikaruga and I'll do a video on that too. But I will say this, if you are a fan of the genre, if you're a fan of arcade style games, if you own a GameCube or a Wii, you can play this on a Wii now, don't forget that. I would say, based on the price of this game and everything else, gameplay elements, combat system, everything, I would definitely say that Chaos Field on the GameCube, yeah, it's a must own. So, Chaos Field, you guys copping or what? Now, I'll tell you how I found out about this game. You know, I only found out about this game semi-recently. I had just gotten this was a little over a year ago, I had just gotten a GPD-XD, the little portable emulation device that kind of looks like a 3DS XL. And I was going through Happy Chick, the kind of download app store thing where you can download ROMs on the GPD-XD. And I'm going through there, and for anyone that has played on a GPD-XD or is familiar with Happy Chick, you know, for a lot of systems, like, yes, there is US games, but half the games on there are Japanese or import games. And, you know, for me, that's not a problem. If you guys watch my channel, you know I love imports. I love shoot-'em-ups. And a lot of those import games, for some reason, from Japan, a lot of them are shoot-'em-ups. So, you know, the GPD-XD, it has the awesome Dreamcast emulator, and I downloaded Chaos Field on the Dreamcast, on the GPD-XD, and it looked good. But it didn't look the same when I hooked it up to the TV and played with an actual PS4 controller through the GPD-XD. So I did some research online and just saw that they made a GameCube version out here in the US. Now, let's talk about the price on this. So I bought this for $30. Now, I looked on eBay. You can find copies like with no manual for like right around $30. It's for a copy like this, it's probably going to cost you anywhere from $40 to $50. If you win an auction, probably closer to that $40 range. Now, there is copies of Chaos Field, import copies for the Dreamcast and the PlayStation 2. Now, the PlayStation 2 version, it's an import game, and it goes for right around $60. And the Dreamcast version, that's like $100 or more. You know, I've seen them for like $160, which I have no idea why you wouldn't just buy the GameCube version, which I absolutely recommend. This is a great shooter, and it's one I didn't like when I first played it because it's just boss. But I kind of find the charm in battling all the bosses now, and I absolutely recommend Chaos Field. And if you're a shoot-'em-up fan like I am, this is a definite must-own in your collection. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching now. Remember to like this video. Remember to subscribe to the channel. And I'm going to be posting some pictures of some more shirts that I'm going to be selling on Instagram and Twitter. Definitely check them out. I'll work a deal with you. Till next time, guys, peace out.